Welcome to another episode of Driving to the Res. With your favorite hosts.
With your favorite hosts,
Inelia
Inelia and
Larry.
Larry.
You're going to have to write this down, I swear. All right. I don't know why that tickles me funny so much.
I know, me too.
But it does.
It does, yeah.
So how you been, honey?
I've been great, thank you.
Did you notice it rained this week?
It did. The rain came.
How much rain did we get?
I have no idea, but we got nice rain.
Every day?
Was it? I don't know.
Pretty much.
Was it? Okay. Every day.
Creeks up to our knees.
Is it? Wow, that's really high.
You can't walk across it right now.
Wow. I did not know that part. I could hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
And PB's quite terrified.
Oh my gosh. I just saw hawk.
A hawk?
A hawk going towards the chickens and up again.
Well, it's a good thing Tiny's on duty.
Well, he didn't do nothing.
He must have, because I didn't see any hawk with feathers in him.
No. It was too small for the chickens, but he tried.
Oh.
Wow, it's a small hawk. It was one of those... I can't remember the name of those little hawks.
I don't know the name of them either. Not a red-tailed hawk, huh?
No. That was intense.
Like a mouse hawk?
Yeah. Wow. Still up there.
Something a shrew.
One of the roosters is upset about it.
Yes, I can hear them. They make the strangest noise.
They do. Like you would think those dinosaurs made.
Fred and I were watching the latest Clint Eastwood movie.
Oh yeah, there's a Clint Eastwood movie?
Yeah.
What's it about?
Well, there's a rooster in it.
Oh, okay.
He's a fighting rooster, but he's not really a fighter. He's a lover. He's a good rooster. And he's like a guard dog, and he comes and he listens and you can pet him, and he's like a puppy dog rooster.
Oh.
He's in the movie. I don't recommend the movie though. We couldn't even finish it.
I think the rooster will die.
I hope not. I didn't get there. we didn't get to the dead rooster, and the rooster wasn't doing any rooster fighting.
Why?
He was just like the boy's companion.
Oh. So why couldn't you finish it?
Well, it's a bit strange because, Clint Eastwood is pretty famous as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And the acting is horrible.
Oh, no.
And the storyline is ridiculous.
Oh, no.
And yeah. So we just couldn't finish it.
Oh.
We both got to the halfway point or 3/4 way point, and we're like, both of us distracted with other things. And you know how sometimes you're watching a movie and you go like, this is terrible. It's going to get better.
And it doesn't.
I just got to see what it ends like, and it'll get better.
It never does.
Well, it didn't feel like it was going to.
Oh,
So I stopped it. I turned it off, and I said, Fred, we'll just say the movie ends like he stays where he's at, gets married, lives happily ever after, and the boy stays, and they take care of all these horses, and the rooster lives a nice happy old life. That's the end. It's like, that's a great idea, because it can only go downhill from here is where we were at. Mm. It was at Heaven on Earth.
Oh wow, there's a big crow. No, I think it might be a raven on the apple tree.
Oh, eating apples?
Biting the last apple, the very last apple.
Oh, I'm proud of him.
Those are yummy apples too. Yeah, he's really digging at it.
So, at the point where he had created and found heaven on earth, Clint Eastwood and this boy, he'd gone to Mexico to bring this boy home to his father. Because his father and his mother were divorced and arguing, and the boy had been with the mother in Mexico forever. And the father wanted his son home.
So he kidnapped the kid?
No, he went down to talk to him. He sent his Clint Eastwood was an old cowboy who was retired and washed up, got hurt, broke his back, got on opiates, drugs, and alcohol.
Oh my
washed up, no good. And the dad was a rich ranch owner who had hired him, but fired him, and then went and found him in his house and said, "Hey, you owe me. I've been paying the mortgage on this house that you're living in, even though I fired you. We go down to Mexico and talk to my son and see if he'll come out.
Okay. So the son
I've
wasn't
got
a child.
tell him I've got a horse here for him and a ranch and everything.
So the son
else.
was not a child.
13.
Oh, he was a child. Okay.
But in Mexico, he was 13-year-old, and he ran away from his mom all the time. He lived on the streets and
oh my goodness,
all kinds of things.
Right.
But there was like plenty of drama involved in the relationships. So he wasn't supposed to go kidnap him. He was just supposed to go talk to him and tell him what's available, and then help him catch a ride home to the U.S.
Okay.
Which it's a decent setting for a movie, of course.
Yeah, but the acting was.
But the acting was atrocious. The 13-year-old acted like a toddler.
Oh my god.
Oh, really? There's a horse there? I can have a horse if I go there with you? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like absurd.
Oh.
Because I don't know if Clint Eastwood's met any 13-year-olds, but they don't act like that.
They don't behave like that.
No. Anyway,
definitely don't.
And Clint Eastwood met a young, attractive woman
and of
who
course
cooked for him, and she loved him, because he doesn't snore. That's why, because he doesn't snore.
Because all guys,
Yeah, and he's like super ancient, and she's not, but she loves him, of course.
Oh my god!
But anyway, at some point in the movie, as they're going back to the U.S. and they get stopped in the middle, and they're in this place in the restaurant, and they have a ranch, and this Mexican guy who catches wild horses but can't sell them because they're not tamed, and so Clint Eastwood's taming him, but he's too old to do it all the time, so he's teaching the boy how to tame him. So it's like creating this perfect situation of multiple circumstances that made a perfect life. And the rich dad in the U.S. actually only wanted his son home for leverage against the mom because he had a business deal in Mexico.
Oh my goodness.
So he's like a stinker.
Oh my goodness.
So, of course, at some point, it gets into the movie where everything is perfect and there's no reason to change anything, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we shut it off.
Okay, that's good.
We said, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, they had a great life.
They have a great life and everything's perfect. I don't see any reason to muck it up.
Horses, got a rooster.
Horses and a rooster, food, a wonderful place to live, an endless supply of horses that need attention. Oh, and Clint Eastwood is a magician with animals and healing them and everything.
He's an animal whisperer?
Yeah, fixing them, helping them, healing them, kind of like a vet, but with no license.
Yeah.
So this lady shows up with her dog and her husband, and the husband says, "You have to fix this dog. My wife is a very mean woman. If you don't fix her, it will be bad."
Oh my god.
And the lady shows up and she's got this angry face, but she has this big, huge dog, and she's holding him, and he's a little old. Actually, he's quite old, and Clint looks at the dog and her, and she gives him this glare, and he looks at the little boy and he says, "I don't know how to heal old." So he says,
"I don't know how to heal old."
Yeah, he's an old dog. So he told her, he said, "What you need to do is let your dog sleep on the end of your bed. That's the best way to fix him." So they're like, okay. So in a sense, it's all creating this heaven on earth.
Yeah.
New paradigm life.
Yeah.
Let your old dog sleep on the end of the bed. That's the best cure. So,
oh my goodness.
The essence of, I guess, what I'm talking about is job, right? He's retired and doesn't have a job, and he created a new meaning for his life. And in this sense, even though the movie was terrible, the meaning was a high frequency, purposeful, purpose-filled life of healing and what's the words? Healing and empowerment of those around him, and the stuff that we talk about, the stuff you teach. He created a perfect life. Now, of course, it's a Hollywood movie, so everything's got to go to crap. So that's why we shut it off. Because we don't subscribe to that anymore.
No, that's true.
And you could just feel it coming,
Yeah. Because Clint Eastwood.
Because, well, it's a Hollywood movie more than Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know he was even still alive. He must be ancient by now.
Yeah, he's quite aged. Yeah, and so some of the acting part was a bit absurd because, he's too old to be getting on a horse. And he was definitely too old to be attracting the amorousness of a...
I'm a 20-year-old.
She was at least 40.
Over 40-year-old. She's looking at all the two dogs through
She's
the
looking
window.
at the two dogs through the glass window, yeah. And she can see them, but she can't smell them. And with dogs,
It's
smell
the
is
smell.
the final
Yeah,
arbiter.
yeah. Yeah, the jobs. I guess we have had several people during this world split talking about, but what do I do if I don't comply? I'm going to lose my job, right?
Right.
And that's really important to have a job here in this paradigm, because when you're born, one of the first things you're taught is that you have to pay to live here on this planet. You have to pay to have somewhere to live. You have to pay to eat, to drink water, to clothe yourself, and you have to pay for transport, for communication, entertainment, for connecting with other people, pretty much for everything.
I think it used to be you had to work for some of that stuff, and now it's evolved into, or been redirected into, pay for it. So you got to work somewhere else to get the money to pay for all that stuff.
Yeah, because in the past you would work by building a house.
Build a house
yourself.
with your friends.
Yeah.
Or your family, or your tribe, or your whatever.
Yeah.
When you get a certain age, your tribe gathers together and creates a space for you to live together.
Take care of your house.
And usually invite somebody from another tribe to join you, so that you have a nice, powerful tribal group.
Yeah.
You don't pay everybody in dollars or in fish. You pay everybody in babies. Make your tribe stronger. You pay each other in reciprocating, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different system.
It was a different system.
Doesn't make it better or worse. It's just it was a different system.
But now you have to pay for these things.
Some places, yeah, pretty much most places. There's exceptions, of course.
And people get upset that they feel they have to comply for something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
In order to pay to live on the planet. But that's also an illusion.
Mm.
It's an illusion. Because there are, we talked about it so many times now. In October 2019, before any of this happened.
This is what time? This is October of 2021.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yep, it's been 2 years since that
decree or whatever that came
decree or warning or guidance.
Yeah.
Which I remember when you said it, I was like,
what?
I was set aback. I was like, what the? I have never heard you give a warning like that, honey.
It wasn't a warning either. It was a decree, an order.
An order.
And I don't give orders, Oh, I can't say that anymore.
You obviously can't say that.
It wasn't mine anyway to give. I was asked to give it by the Human Collective in Gaia.
And you did.
And I did, which is amazing.
Which is also amazing.
Anything that they asked me to do. But they bugged me so much, I was like, fine, I'll do it. And that was to create your own systems of education and work, social systems, because I didn't know why, but I knew that they were needed. And now that's what it is. I have found many people can still exist within the old paradigm structured work without complying, right? Because it's almost like bluff, right? To different degrees, it's bluff. And there are, people are they're told by March, anybody who doesn't have it can't work, can't eat, can't this, can't that, can't whatever's, right?
Yeah, it's always a deadline at some point in the future.
Right.
The pressure is built and released and built and released.
Yeah, exactly, built and released. And whenever these things are taken to court, they just vanish. Right? They disappear. So it's like identifying with or having become extremely dependent on the dark paradigms, power over other structures, it's going to be detrimental to your state of happiness.
Because you'll have pressure applied to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have mentioned this over and over and over again, and blue in the face. But people still coming into the information for the first time.
Right. Yeah. And it's fair to say that people are being exposed to information that's new to them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Because everyone kind of comes to their realizations at whatever stage or whatever time they come to. Because some of us are really, really sleepy. Some of us maybe not so sleepy, but some of us are maybe our attention is
elsewhere,
enraptured with another for a very long time, and so the process of swinging out of that, shaking it off, isn't so instant.
It's the blue pill, red pill thing,
Yeah, it is. It's like the conversation about specifics can get so detailed that you get lost in the specifics almost. But the essence of your job, you come to the planet, you came here for a purpose, a reason, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And oftentimes we, as guys, for example, will think that our purpose is to, make the best boat or catch the most fish or weld the best weld. Mm-hmm. Maybe even create the best business for making hamburgers that everybody wants one. Doing things, engaged in doing things. And by being engaged in doing those things, becoming engrossed in them. Right. Making money to make our families happy because, obviously, if we make a whole bunch of money, they'll be happy. Mm-hmm.
So
that's kind of where we get sidetracked into thinking that's our job for being is to provide money for our family, for example.
For example, or to buy a new car or, pay for our whatevers.
TVs and credit cards or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it could be for a number of reasons that a person allegedly needs to have a job, right? I have a class at ineliabenz.com.
Yeah.
In the store called Life Mission and Your Daily Job. And in that class, this topic of the difference between, because one of the questions that are coming up also is like, what is my mission, right?
Right, why did I actually come to that planet? I came here and incarnated here to make burgers or to
at McDonald's.
Move papers around or to make sure helicopters fly and don't crash or whatever, Is that really why I came here?
Right. And in that class we talk about it, in a great amount of detail, the whys and what the differences are and how they relate to each other.
Your life mission, because as people become expanded in their awareness, they become aware that there are life missions as a thing, actually.
Yeah, they're here for
and they're here for experiences,
burgers, right?
Here to create experiences with groups of people, for example, right? Yeah. But somehow that gets a little bit sidetracked or hijacked even people that are incarnated on the planet as like little gray aliens in human bodies forget their own purpose for incarnating, and they think it might be
having a family,
real estate and selling houses.
Yeah. One of the things I would ask my students would be when they were talking about their job, for example. Or even other things such as my kids, right? For example, it's like, well, I feel, this would be an example, I feel like my life mission is to bring knowledge about, let's say, the Lemurians or enlightenment or ETs or Reiki or whatever's to the masses. I feel that very deeply.
That's their life mission?
Yeah, that's how this is what they would say.
Okay.
And then in the next sentence they would say, but my 2 daughters and 3 sons refuse to talk to me because I've started talking about this publicly.
Okay.
So they've cut me off. They can't stand me. They attack me, they call me names, they ridicule me, and they say as long as I talk about these things. They're not going to engage with me at all.
Just go back to your regular life.
Yeah, just go back to work, Dad, right?
Just
or Mom.
go catch
Just
some
go back.
fish.
Yeah, just
be
go,
normal.
Just be normal. Catch some fish or whatever's right.
Sure.
And my answer to that question was, okay, so you're spending a lot of time, effort, and energy the past year to try and compromise the two things, right? To get your children to accept you and what you feel is your mission here on earth, right? To
or
deliver...
your family. It could be children, could be husband,
Yeah.
could be whatever.
Right. I'm just saying a generally made up example. Could be your husband, could be your wife, right? So I would say, okay, so, or it could be their boss.
Could be their boss.
Yeah, it could be like, dude or dudette,
Don't talk about that stuff. I'm going to have to fire you.
If you carry on talking about this stuff, I'm going to have to fire you,
We
because
cannot
customers...
have our company be associated with this kind
Exactly, right?
of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I would say to them, okay, all right, let's have a look at this. I want you to close your eyes and ask yourself in a very, very, very important and deep way, was I born in this lifetime on planet Earth to make my children happy? To be the father that they want me to be, or the mother that they want me to be? Is that why I was born here, to make them happy? Yes or no?
Well, the answer that came was, well, of course not.
Right.
But the drive is, of course, to do.
Right.
There's a tug of war in there.
Yes.
It's like...
But of course not is the actual answer. I've never had anybody who said, yeah, I came here to this planet to be the best husband to that woman, or to be the best wife to that man, or to be the best mother to those children, or to be that they conceive to be the best mother, right? To be the best that they want me to be to those children, to be the best sister that person can conceive, right?
And
to fit into their mold. I didn't come here on planet Earth to fit into somebody else's mold. That's not what I came here to do. And I'm sure that some people did. I'm sure that some people came here to be the best mold for somebody else. But I haven't met one yet. I haven't met one of those yet.
I remember one.
You do?
Well,
okay.
In a sense. Remember Dr. Wayne Dyer's dad? He came to Earth to not be a dad.
Well, that's an interpretation. I don't personally agree with it.
You don't agree with that one?
No, I don't.
All right.
So, it's like, that's the question to ask. And then when you answer that, then keeping your job or not keeping your job, or being a father, or working at McDonald's, or working at, I don't know, Schwab, or working or whatever, is irrelevant, actually. It's not, leave that and go for your mission. It's not that at all. It's the opposite. It's like, oh, you don't make your children happy because you can't fit into their mold of what's normal, right? Because you can't shut up about aliens, right? Or shut up about the Lemurians, or shut up about enlightenment. So you can't be their perfect father, and they're not going to invite you to their parties because you're going to embarrass them.
Talk about weird stuff?
Yeah, talking about weird stuff, right? Then that's fine. That doesn't stop you from being a father or a mother or a brother or a sister or a husband or a wife. It doesn't stop you, right? You just release that pressure that you have to comply to what they want.
Or oftentimes even what you think they want more than anything else.
Yeah, a lot of the time. But the people I spoke with, it was pretty clear. They
were clear and direct about.
Oh yes, there had been.
You do X, Y, and Z, and then I will like you again.
Exactly.
Which isn't actually going to be true, I bet.
Right. You get the job, and I will allow you to see your grandchild, for example. Right? Very clear. You stop talking about aliens, and I will allow you to hang out with my children, your grandchildren. Or you stop talking about enlightenment and I let you into my house. Do you see?
I do.
It's a difference. It's a very different energy.
Mm-hmm.
So when those situations, the very, very clear situations happened, I would say to them, did you come here onto earth? Did you have this lifetime to be compliant to that person? Is that why you came here? And they would say no. Nobody has said yes. Although I'm sure there must be some somewhere. But nobody said, that's right, I came here to be compliant to my daughter, my son, my sister, my brother, my mother, my father, right? My grandchildren. Nobody has said I came here to be compliant to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the job thing is the same. Did you come here on this planet to work for
Chevy?
Yeah.
Or IBM?
Or whatever's, right?
Whatever's.
Did you come here on the planet to clean toilets? Right? It's like, no.
That part's kind of irrelevant, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, yes.
Whatever you're doing, it doesn't
really matter. Unless you're actually literally jabbing people in the arm with poison, or you're literally creating
like an
poisons.
assassin or something like that.
Right.
Or, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, there are exceptions.
Unless you're doing those things.
Mercenary.
Right? Yeah. Then it's not actually... That would be relevant because it's going against your enlightenment and all the other words, right?
Right. That's like actively the opposite of your
empowerment, enlightenment,
expansion of awareness,
exactly.
And creating of a new paradigm. It's kind of like
yeah,
incompatible.
Yeah.
So it's the gray part where the incompatibility appears to be there when it actually isn't, and so a lot of focus goes on the angst of the incompatibility when there is none. It just doesn't matter. Go do that, or go do that, or go do that, or go do that. Those things aren't. So what about someone who works for like mainstream media?
What about them?
Whose job is tampering down and spreading propagandas and things like that. So they're like kind of actively engaged in
the opposite of what they
came here to do.
Exactly. The same as the people who are jabbing
so
other people or whatever.
Yeah, that would feel obviously contrary.
Yes. Unless it's something that's opposed to what you know you came here to do, then it's fine.
And some jobs are with places that are so big they like have all those things. They have people in there that are against it, people that are for it, people that are helping, people that are obstructing. So like the organization is so giant, you can't really say one thing to it. Like if you work for the government, for example,
right.
The government, who's the government?
Exactly.
It's a bunch of people, right?
Yeah. I've had situations where people will say to me things such as, but everyone at work hates me. Or everybody at work thinks I'm a nutter because I meditate. And I say, oh, okay, so can you give me their names? Well, there's a lot of them. I say, okay, just give me like 3 names. Okay, and they start thinking about it. Actually, it's just one person. Right? It's actually one person who thinks I'm a nutter because I meditate. Oh, okay, so maybe we should test it. Yeah, because, in scientific method, you test to prove yourself wrong. That's part of the scientific method. You test it. So,
ask 2 more people.
2 different people. I said to them, okay, no.
What?
I said, okay, 2 different people. Actually, it was 2 different people who I said to, okay, so is there like a quiet place at work where you can go meditate? I said, yeah, actually, we have a room that is actually a meditation room. Okay.
At work.
Okay, I want you to go there at 12 and just put a little notice, meditation class. And then go in there and meditate for,
15
half an
minutes,
hour.
Half hour.
Right. And see if everybody at work hates you or thinks you're a nutter, ridicules you because you meditate. All right. Okay. Very brave, these individuals. Different times, different years, different companies. Went to their work, did it. I don't know how they advertised it, but they did it. Filled up the classes, filled them up. They came back, actually, not everybody thinks I'm a nutter. And I've got a whole bunch of new friends at work.
It's quite funny,
Right.
huh? When you get, it's
yeah.
a part of being able to be seen, or is it something like that?
Well, it's because a lot of, like you said, we were talking about the assumptions, right?
They assume what other people are going to think.
Exactly. We assume a lot, but when you test it out, often it's wrong. So there's two different situations here. The ones where people clearly delineate the rules of their engagement, and the other ones where we just assume everything. Right. So life, work, mission, all that. There's only one mission for every single awakened light worker on the planet today.
Only one mission.
Only one mission for everyone.
What's that?
To keep your frequency high, embody the new paradigm on a day-to-day basis, 24/7.
That's your actual...
7 days a week.
That's your actual mission.
52 weeks a year. That's your actual mission.
Wherever and whatever you happen to be doing, you're doing that.
Yes,
while you're
and
doing
it doesn't mean a false happiness, joyful demeanor.
Not a pretend one.
No, it's
not
not
a forced
about being
one.
or positive thinking, which is absolute bullshit. Pardon my language.
Hey, I think positive thoughts.
No, I mean the methodology of it.
Okay.
You can be positive all you want.
Thank you, honey.
Yes, but not the methodology. I mean,
not lying to yourself.
No, exactly. Don't lie to yourself.
Feel what you feel, and what you feel.
Use the processes.
Your low frequencies.
Stuff. And that allows you to release them, to send them back to source. Right? And every time that you process a low frequency, especially fear, your frequency, overall frequency, goes back a little bit closer to your natural frequency, which is extremely high. And that's what you're here to do, to express
you're
your
here
natural
to express your natural frequency. Anyone and everyone who hears that can see, feel, sense the truth of that single, simple sentence.
Exactly. That's your mission.
Your mission is to, say it, honey, express your natural frequency.
And and embody your natural frequency.
Whatever you're doing.
Which is extremely high.
Yes.
That's it. That's your mission. And that is not incompatible with
having a job.
With the majority of jobs on the planet.
Most of them, yeah.
You
can do that, whatever you happen to be doing.
Whether you're cleaning toilets or whatever, or being a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. So if you stick to that, you're going to be just fine.
So job number 1 is that.
Yes.
And whatever other thing that you're doing that while. And being that while.
And make sure they don't...
And don't censor yourself.
Right.
And don't compromise yourself.
Exactly.
You are just that.
And
wherever
you're going to be
you
shocked
are.
and surprised at how amazingly supported you are by the human collective.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like revelatory, honey.
Well, that and lots more information are on that class.
Mm.
So go to ineliabenz.com.
ineliabenz.com. Mm-hmm. And then what is the name? Life, mission, and job? What is the name of the class, honey?
Yeah. It is, I'll tell you the exact name so you can look at it.
Maybe Ilya will put a
life mission, and your daily job.
Life, mission, and your daily job.
Yeah.
So I found that maintaining your natural frequency seems to be clearly, I don't know if the word's easier, but more durably kept higher if you join with people who are also that, instead of mixing with people who are not that.
All the time, yeah.
All the time, yeah. So, in the past you've said your 5 people that you spend the most time with, make sure that their frequency is the same as yours or higher.
Yeah, because that's going to be your average.
That will be your frequency.
Yeah, your average frequency will be the average of the 5 that you hang out with most. Mm-hmm. And it can be like the books you read, it can be the movies you watch, it could be the teachers you follow, that you listen to all the time. That adds to that average. It doesn't have to be people you hang out with every day.
At a physical level. Yeah. But it doesn't hurt to do that.
The physical level ones actually do have a major effect, the most effect.
Okay, so it's the most effect is from the 5 physical.
Yes.
But if you haven't got 5 clear physical high frequency individuals, then you can substitute one you spend time with listening to, reading,
Yes,
engaging with their
exactly.
classes, things like that.
Yeah.
And they will be a good booster.
Right. I've had a lot of individuals joining the Inelia Benz Telegram channel, and one of the first things they say is, I had a fabulous teacher I've been following for decades, and now they jab themselves and they believe in the virus, and I'm gutted. I'm just devastated about this. I don't know what to do. I'm just so brokenhearted, and I can't believe that I feel betrayed by this teacher. And I don't understand how somebody who's so awake, so aware, so high frequency can do this.
Myself included.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't following, but I enjoyed reading his writings.
Who's?
Pinto Boy.
Oh, yeah.
He's so funny and so interesting. Yeah, and then I was like, well, I caught COVID and then I got 2 jabs. So now I'm a super immune, and they should make special exceptions for me. I should be able to travel without a mask because I'm not going anywhere with a mask on. But I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. I mean, the last reading, I still read a couple of his emails to see what comes from it.
Yeah, and
what has happened.
What?
He turned into, his last email, he was a dirty old geezer.
Oh my God, really?
Truly.
He turned into a dirty old geezer?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He made a spiritual trip to a seedy village town, and he went to the whorehouses.
Oh my God.
It was just disgusting, the writing, it was very low frequency writing. It's
so
like, what the holy muck trolley? Wow. I don't know if he actually did all that, but his story was pervy.
Yeah.
It was a pervy story.
Wow.
And then the next one, it was basically righteousness. He's a Superman in the sense of his immunity to COVID, since he caught it and he got 2 jabs. So now he's a super immune, and exceptions should be made for him. And his plea to the powers that be to give him an exception.
Oh my God.
I mean,
power over others, ego,
everything, all zing. He got a super zing, and he probably had that to begin with, but he was expressing it in a way that was kind of funny, and then you could like make an exception for, it's his funny writing style. That's why he's saying that.
I guess it wasn't, huh?
But it wasn't. He was always that.
Wow.
But now it's visible, which is the
dividing factor, huh?
Well, no, it's the raise the vibration of the planet that you spoke about to begin with.
Yeah.
It's raising in vibration. It's clear.
The vibration is very loud.
It's unmistakable.
Yes.
The frequency of each person is
very
unmistakable, clear. And so that includes you. Express your frequency. His job is to express his frequency, which he's doing.
He's doing very well. Yes.
But that ain't mine.
No, incompatible with mine.
Incompatible with yours. Yeah. So what do you say to people who have that experience?
What experience?
Where someone that they spent a lot of time and attention with has exposed themselves as maybe being a vaxxer. And I mean, when we say that word, what we mean is this particular one, not all of them, just this particular choice point, right?
It is, yeah. It's just this particular choice point. Yeah. What do I say to them?
Yeah. Remember you were talking about that, and I kind of interrupted you because I had a similar experience and a story of it.
What did you do?
Well,
after you
I withdrew my not so much authority to, but my
interesting
focused attention. It's like, ooh, what does he have to write? I'm interested in seeing and seeing if there's any gems in there. To oh my gosh, now I want to see, now that he's exposed himself for his true frequency, what does he do? Only in the sense of
morbid curiosity.
Morbid curiosity, right? It's like, let's see where this goes, because I'm glad I'm not on this train
Oh
anymore.
my God,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not on that train anymore. So yeah, that's basically it. Be glad you're not on that train anymore, and you were right to follow your knowing and knowing that that person is no longer if your frequency, and step away.
They're driving a train. It's just not going where you want to.
Sadly,
that's all.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that's a bad train. It's just not your train.
And not good for you.
Not good for you. Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
totally.
because there's judgments that are put around, oh, these are bad people, or this is a bad person, or this is a bad that, or bad anything. It's just a different direction.
Yes. I don't hang out with torturers or child rapists because they're different frequency, different direction of their lives.
Well, that's extremely... we could just call that bad person.
Okay.
That's different.
Okay, got it.
There's levels of bad person here.
Yes.
That's just bad person.
That's just bad person.
Yeah,
Just stay away from those.
Stay away with those entirely. They're not on a train going to just another destination.
They are
They are literally going to a bad place.
They are the destination.
They are bad place.
They are the bad place. Yeah.
Just don't pull no punches about that kind of stuff. There is clear. Okay, that's like, yeah, making my heart go.
The guardian energy.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
Work, mission, jobs.
So if you have a job that supports you, it supports your mission on the life, which is what? Your mission for coming to the planet right now?
Yeah, to stay high frequency.
Embody your natural frequency. If your job supports you in doing that.
Yeah, because it gives you shelter, you can buy nice things, you can pay for your food, you can hang out with friends and give a nice expensive barbecue.
Yeah.
If it does that for you, right, and it does not compromise your frequency, you make sure it doesn't, then you're fine.
Cool. Yeah. So where it gets tricky is when we individuals compartmentalize these things. Yeah. So we separate our mission from our job and try to be in job a certain thing that's we believe is expected of us, right?
At a frequency that is not what you came here to be.
Right, because we think that's what's required at that job. For example,
it's separate to your mission.
And it's separate, because it supports my mission, but my mission is a different time and place and everything else. I do that.
I meditate at 6 a.m.
Yeah, before I go to work.
Yeah, and kill people.
No, don't do that at work.
Okay, don't do that. Okay.
Don't do that at work.
All right.
Yeah, that's a clear incompatibility.
Yes.
Right.
But some of them are more subtle, right?
Yeah, some of them are like
I spend 9 hours a day concentrating on computer programs and not on delivering the message of empowerment. So is that compatible or incompatible? Right?
Yeah.
So it says, okay, so you're working 9 hours a day. What do you do afterwards? Well, there's still stuff to do, so I carry on working. Well, that's not compatible, right?
Right.
Because you're overworking.
Right, you don't even have... Yeah.
Right? But, actually after that, I go out with my friends. We go hiking and biking. And I write my stuff and I meditate. And actually, I just sit and observe the wonderful, amazing beauty of Gaia. Yeah, that feels compatible to me.
That feels fine.
Yeah, because there's job, I spend 9 hours a day on it, but because of it, I was able to buy this really beautiful land that I can drive to, and I'm building a really beautiful community there. Boom.
Boom.
Or whatever. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It could be just I sit and watch the sunset every day, and I am able to in a warm, dry, comfortable place, or a nice, cooled, AC'd environment if you're not into heat, right? Because my job pays for the mortgage, right? So it's not complicated.
Well, it is complicated. What if I didn't get a mortgage and I lived simply, and I didn't need a job to pay the mortgage, and then
it's a
I
lifestyle
could work like
choice.
2 hours a
It's a
week.
lifestyle choice. When somebody said to me, the problem is that my life will be over if I give up my job, right? They were obsessed with their job. And they said, my life will be over. And I said, what do you mean your life will be over? You're going to die? No. I said, well, what do you mean then? Well, I won't be able to pay for my 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home. Oh, okay. So you'll be homeless? Not really. I have friends and relatives that I can go live with. Okay. But I won't be able to pay for my bills. So you'll have no water or food. Well, not really, because, and then, so what you're saying to me is, if I give up my job, I have to give up a lifestyle choice, which is living in luxury, right?
Uh-huh.
So is that what you're saying? Yes. Okay, let's start from that point. For you to live in luxury is important. Yes, it is. Okay, let's start from there. Let's try and work around this thing because that is important to you.
But it's also your trap.
Not necessarily.
In a sense.
Not necessarily. You
That's
make
what
it
they're
your
trying
trap.
to say. That's what
Yes,
they're saying.
that's what they're saying.
This is the lifestyle I choose, and it's my trap.
Exactly. Yeah. So from the perspective, first thing is, okay, just make sure you know that this is your life choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually live as a homeless person under a bridge. You can continue living. But that's not your life choice. That's not your lifestyle choice.
Yeah, probably 1 week of that, and you'd be like, I'm done with that.
Exactly. So let's be clear here. What we're talking about is maintaining your lifestyle choices, what you like to have as an experience here on this planet. Let's start from there.
Okay.
And from there, we're going to work backwards to figure out how to continue it, how to keep it, right? While not compromising what you actually came here to do.
Which was
Stay
embody your natural high frequency.
Yeah, your natural frequency is very high. You came here to embody that at this time of period, right?
Right.
To keep it, to stay it, and then embodying it also by recreating healthy communication systems, educational systems, work systems, social systems.
Right.
Which people are doing all over
all
the
over.
world now.
They're doing
all
it now.
over the world.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Mm-hmm. So those are the things.
I always say when I find those things, I support them.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, even if I'm not especially wanting that thing or that stuff, it's like I'm going to support it in some way because that is what I'm here to embody and create, and in that support.
Yes. So that's the thing, right? And then we can go to all the other things that we learn in the manifestation workshop and that I teach.
Create why, your strong why, your
Benz Academy,
your club, your
.com and ineliabenz.com. Walk with me now. I teach these things everywhere, right? All the tools you need to set yourself up for success. You can keep your 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home, your Ferrari,
your job.
You can keep your work, right? That pays for it all, and be a high frequency, embodying the high frequency. You see, one of the really bad traps that the shadow side of our human collective did was to demonize wealth.
Right,
so
and the guys.
Why did they demonize it? Do you remember?
To withdraw the power and ability to do from a high frequency collective.
Exactly. What kind of person who can afford a 5-bedroom house or even a mansion and Ferrari or 10, what can they do that you cannot do without having that capacity to have all those things? Apart from not having those things, the person who doesn't have those things also cannot start companies, create movies, build satellites with, high frequency, emissions, right?
Yeah, so like the satellites are transmitting at a frequency that's supportive
of life rather than destroying life,
right?
For example, that's what it means.
It's true, though, also then, to a degree, that some jobs are more supportive of your mission
Mm-hmm.
than others.
Yes, that
Some
is true.
are incompatible with your mission.
Yes.
Some are irrelevant to your mission, and some are supportive of your mission.
Yes.
But the tendency to try and find specifically solely a job that's supportive of your mission, in the sense like, I'm going to teach how to be a healer, teach meditation classes or something like that for free, for example. They sound supportive, but they're detractive, because you kind of like pull yourself
You're not
out
completing the
of
circuit.
supporting yourself too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
You're
your
not-
lifestyle that makes you comfortable,
Right.
or you feel comfortable with,
Yeah.
and things like that.
You're not completing the circuit.
Yeah, it's not. It
often-
sounds simple, but when
Yeah.
each case is a bit specific.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put priority,
You'd be amazed at
on,
how much the human collective and Gaia loves you and will support you if you let it.
yeah,
Be amazed. And that part, the part of, do I charge for my meditation classes or not? Or who do I charge it to?
and who's going to show up if I'm charging, and et cetera,
Right,
on
yeah.
down the line, right?
Mm-hmm. For many years, most of my life, I would work with individuals who were on the front line of empowerment and enlightenment,
Right.
and healing. So I would work with the workers who had all the students, who had all the followers, who had all those individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And often I would find them exhausted. Exhausted. So Gaia and the Human Collective would send me around the world,
Yeah.
right? Coincidentally, to meet these individuals, right? And one of the things that I noticed was that often they would do that type of thing, not completing the circuit, right?
Right.
Disempowering themselves, and I would advise them, give them advice, and I would come clean and say, here, I'm here because of this and this and the other. You asked for help, here I am. When you ask for help to your higher self, the Human Collective, Gaia or God or whatever it is that you're following, sometimes they send you a person.
Sometimes.
Right? And I would repeat back their request, and they would go, what? Anyways, often it would be that imbalance. So, for example, somebody who followed a particular teacher said, oh my God, your teachings are super compatible with my teachers. So this is the people I used to work with before I went public, okay?
Right.
So I knew a lot of their traps and the things that they would get into. And often I would pull them out of the muck, clean them up, give them a bit of boost of energy and everything.
And send them back.
Shower them. No, I didn't send them back. I would tell them, don't jump in there.
Oh.
That's really nasty, right?
Well,
But what did they did?
They jump right back in.
Yes, they did. Right. And they didn't have the oxygen line, right? Why? Because of all the teachings of sacrifice and all that type of stuff, right? Martyr and not completing the circuit, have to do it for free and all that type of stuff.
Quite effective at disempowerment.
Yes, very effective at disempowerment. It's not a good example to give. So fast forward, after 2010, I was asked not to work with those individuals anymore, but kind of become one of them, right? Become the person who teaches, who guides, who shows empowerment and all that type of stuff. and then I would get these messages of people saying, oh my gosh, I have a teacher and your teachings are so compatible, you guys should work together. And actually,
I remember. I gave you those quite a few.
Yeah, gosh, yes, you did.
Not such a good
suggestion.
I'm sorry.
Exactly. The suggestion was
I'm
absolutely
sorry, honey.
atrocious. That's okay.
They seemed good at the time.
Yeah. And I would look at them and I would ask about their personal lives. So a few times I did have meetings with these people, and the first thing I would say to them is, where do you live? Right? And if they said to me, actually, I don't have a home, I live in somebody's sofa, I would very quickly wrap up that conversation and not talk to them as a possible ally. Why? Because when you're living on a sofa, you're not exactly empowered, right? Oh, but my teachings enlighten people. I can give people enlightenment. You know what? We're talking about an enlightenment that is real. It's not theoretical or woo-woo, or just perceived as. Gaia loves you, so why are you so disconnected with Gaia? Gaia will give you a beautiful home to live in. Gaia will, and the human collective will make sure that you're comfortable. They will if you allow them. So why are you so disconnected? You see, this is what I saw. They were not actually enlightened. It was a false light because they were disconnected. Disconnected. Because Gaia and the human collective will support you at the level that you want that support or you accept it. So if they didn't accept it, they were living on somebody's sofa. If they accepted it only through free donations or whatever, they lived in a beautiful ashram type location where all their supporters banded together and gave them a beautiful environment. Right? If they were open to donations, for example, or they were open to, I was taught...
Basically support.
Yeah, I was given the Ascension 101 course originally so I could pay for the website where I could put it. Right? So I could pay for the time and effort and time that I was spending creating and teaching people this information. And be able to support myself at the time. Right? So that's why it's like, oh, that's really clever. So just create an income line and the human collective will support you. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Right? So I remember when I bought my Mercedes, I lost a lot of so-called followers, right? And I kept telling them not to follow me, just to see the guidance and truth it and test it and try out. And that was great. It's a purging, right? Because those were the individuals who had the programs of disempowerment so ingrained that they believed that their money, if they bought a course, I don't know how I was supposed to use it. Maybe just I had to be on the edge of poverty and I was used to buy water or food. Maybe, I don't know. But buying a Mercedes with it was not okay with them.
I know. The first time I saw your car, I was like, oh, wow, she is. That's an awesome car. Holy crap, I'm so excited. She's not driving a beater.
I let you drive it too. And that was...
I was so happy.
I had never let anybody drive my car. And I let you drive it, and you went through a red light.
Yeah, I was totally out. You canceled that, letting me drive it right afterward.
Yes, I said, pull over.
Pull over.
I'm driving.
I'm driving. Thought you had your shit together.
Yes. Yeah. So.
Well, some people may have been put off by that. I don't know why, because.
But other people,
it was a very beautiful, very nice car. Very.
But I also paid for a whole bunch of projects, right? A whole bunch of projects, and that was my capacity. How did the Mercedes support me? I'm one of those individuals who need to have like beautiful crafted things around me. I get energized.
It energizes you to be in that environment.
Exactly.
Some of us.
Not everybody. It's not
everybody, and it's not.
I remember
everything.
going to very expensive restaurants with one of my exes, and my sister and I walked into this really expensive restaurant, and we had my first husband with me, and I think another friend and her husband. We walked in, and my sister and I just breathed in deeply. It's like, oh my God, it's so nice here. So beautiful. We're so happy. This is so energizing. Sat down, treated like royalty. It was beautiful, great. We loved it. And then I looked at my first husband. He was shrunk. He hated it. He hated every single moment of it. He hated it. And this other friend also. They were both shrunk in energy and like in their seats, you know, like they couldn't even touch their food even hardly. Right? And the rest of us were ha 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 and eating and enjoying everything, making comments and things, you know. And then I realized, oh, these type of environments are not supportive for everyone.
Not everyone, no.
Right? No, they don't energize everyone. Some people get like the opposite. They get the opposite of energized.
Yeah, they get scrunched in.
Yeah. And, it's like I could walk through any environment, right? Any environment without feeling threatened or whatever. But some environments I feel are very energizing. I can say the same about woods. I can say the same about rain. I can say the same about sunset, right?
They're very energizing.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah. But a garbage dump, not so energizing to me, right?
But I have met plenty of people that find that to be the most fascinating, interesting, and engaging place ever.
Me too.
It's like, oh my God, it's
me too.
filled with treasure.
Exactly. Yeah, I have met those people.
Everyone's a bit different. Remember we went to the Empress in Victoria for tea?
Oh, yeah.
And it was so nice. Like, oh my God, isn't this nice? He's like, tea in the corridor. How nice.
I did. Oh, lovely. We're having tea in the corridor.
It cracked me up too. Because the Empress is a giant hotel, for people who don't know.
Yeah,
it's a giant hotel in Victoria, Canada, and it's where the Queen went, and they still have the Queen's dishes and stuff like that. And they have a tea in the afternoon that's become a tradition for 100 years. And you go there, and it's beautiful.
It used to be a tradition.
You go there and you have this beautiful tea and these beautiful little sandwiches, and everything is so,
in the corridor.
Brilliant. But they have it in it looked like the ballroom is what they called it, but it wasn't really in a ballroom. It was in the corridor, which is the lobby to the ballroom.
Yeah.
So,
it was a corridor.
It was a corridor. So we're in there, and I'm thinking, wow, it's so nice here. And he's like, yes, tea in the corridor. How nice. Oh, my goodness.
It's one of those things. I don't know where it came from.
It cracked me up, though. It cracked me up.
Yeah. But it's like some places energize me and some of them don't,
Yeah.
It's in a corridor. To me, I don't know, the energy feels, or the flow of energy, it just feels different.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a lot of traffic and, I don't... Yeah. But the tea was absolutely delicious. The company was top notch.
Yep. All of those things were good, but
yes.
It was the tea in the corridor part that just cracked me up. It was like, oh, I didn't realize we were in the corridor. Yeah. I was blinded by the splendor, because it is a splendid corridor.
It's a very, very pretty corridor.
Oh, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, find and enjoy the things that energize you.
Yes, right? Exactly.
It's okay if it is a beautiful little Mercedes. I mean, it wasn't like a $700,000 Mercedes, but maybe it is. So, but put $700,000 together and buy a, what do they call those? I don't know. They have names for those kind of cars too.
Right. So, if that's fine,
that's fine if that's your thing.
Yeah, that's fine if that's your thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's like the energy of limitation with regards to work and why you have to work and where you have to spend your money, or other people give you money. Do they dictate how you spend it? No, they don't. So where all these things come from is all about the programs of limitation and also the program of lack. There isn't enough, So if you want to spend $700,000 on a car, right? If you want to do that because that's your favorite car on the planet, then make $700 billion so that the rest you can spend in amazing projects that empower the planet.
Okay.
The high frequency individuals of the planet, right? So there's no limits.
Yeah, don't.
Right? There's no limits.
The limits are the ones that we basically imposed on ourselves.
Yeah. So and I remember, again, one of the experiences that I had was I had somebody whose entire dream in life, this is in England, and it's actually a common dream, was to own a Ferrari.
Yeah, I remember.
This person just wanted to own a Ferrari.
Yep.
From a little kid, he just dreamt about Ferraris, and he decided, you know what, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to save every penny and I'm going to get me a Ferrari. And I don't care what I do. I mean, actually, I better go to college. I better learn something that earns me a lot of money so I can buy me a Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and this was a kid that none of the members of his family had ever gone to college or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't actually go to college, but that was his vision.
Because
right?
that's what he's been shown is the way to do it, right?
Yes, exactly. So my dad was listening to this person, right? And he then said to me, I don't understand. He said, why something so meaningless and superficial? Why something so meaningless and superficial in the center of this man's life?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it, he said. That's a waste of intelligence, a waste of time. I mean, a car is a car. It's going to break down. You know, it's irrelevant. Get a little, you know, Honda or something for $20,000. Why spend? It's just a car. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. It's so superficial. Why are you friends with this highly superficial individual? And I'm like, I don't think that is it. And my mom was there too. It was one of those rare times where they actually met together. And she said, oh, you just don't get it. I said, no. He said, I don't. He says, because it's not about the car. He says, what is it about then? She said, well, to have a Ferrari, you need to have somewhere to park it. Right? And you can't park it in a tenement, you know, like a cheap place. Because it's going to get destroyed.
Can't park it in the parking lot.
No,
on the
it's going to
street,
get destroyed.
corner.
It's going to get stolen. It's all the tires,
People
everything,
rip the mirrors,
or yes, they're just going to
scratch it.
destroy it because they're jealous of it. So what do you need before you get your Ferrari? You need a nice house with a garage, right? Why do you need? So to get that house and the garage, so you can get your Ferrari, you need way more than the 70,000 or whatever it is, $170,000.
Whatever number.
Right, $200,000.
Depends on the Ferrari, honey.
Yes,
some are
exactly.
$1 million.
Yeah. Or $1 million to buy your Ferrari.
Yeah.
You need maybe $3 million just to get the garage for the Ferrari, right? And then, so to get there, before you can even buy that, you need to this, and that. And then she traced it all the way back to just being empowered, being able, capacity to do, right? To be able to bring these things into your life. It's a long journey, but it's not just about the car. It's about a whole journey that is filled with all these other things to reach that goal at the end of it, right? And it's like, okay, so, you know.
It is about the car, but it's really not.
Right, so my dad, being a person who didn't care about money and wasn't doing things for money, guess what? He only married rich millionaire women.
So he didn't have to worry about money.
Exactly.
Let them worry about it.
Yes, exactly.
That was a good plan.
Yeah, he did. His last two wives were millionaires. His present wife is a millionaire, so yeah.
Well, your Mercedes, remember when we moved on to the boat?
Yeah.
We had dogs and we had a Mercedes.
They did not go on the Mercedes.
And every time the dog would get in the Mercedes, the hair would go everywhere. And then when we park it at the marina, the salt water would get all over the brakes and things and make it all rusty.
And it was no
And
longer
then it was in the parking lot,
yeah.
and there's trucks, including my own, that would ding the doors.
Yeah. So it was no longer that luxurious feeling when I got into it because it was all rusty and
it was getting rusty, it was getting dirty, it was getting dinged. It wasn't providing that same thing. So
I got rid of it. I gave it away to Daniela.
And you got a pickup.
Yeah.
To carry your dogs in.
Actually, we got a Jeep.
Oh, that's right. We got a Jeep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you know the new Jeeps are $100,000?
He told me.
Can you believe it?
Surprised.
I'm so shocked. $100,000 for a Jeep.
Yeah.
Ours was $10,000.
Yes, it was. It was $10,000. We put in a credit
It
card.
was our first car. It was our first car. That was so cool. Yeah. It's like, ooh, $10,000. How can we get this? Oh, my credit card has that? Like, okay, let's buy a car on a credit card. That'll be fun.
It was really funny.
And it really helped, too, because it was compatible with where and what when we were doing.
Yeah.
And the Mercedes no longer was.
No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we had leather seats,
and there were
automatic
warmers,
wipers, and
wipers,
it had all
and
the
it was,
luxuries in it too.
So, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely worked. And now we're looking at trying to find a nice garage so you can have another nice Mercedes so that you can sit in it.
No, the Mercedes are no longer nice, unfortunately.
Now we're going to get another nice
Whatever.
Alfa Romeo.
Oh, yeah, I
Maybe.
like Alfa Romeos. I had an Alfa Romeo when I was in my 20s.
A Yugi Or, can you think of anything other? Well, we kind of have to go sit in some of them.
Yeah.
We gotta go. You kind of got to go sit in them and see if you get that feel.
Yeah, exactly. It's the feeling. I don't care about the car. I mean,
and your Mercedes wasn't even a brand new one either.
No, it wasn't. No. So,
people make a lot of assumptions.
They do. Yeah.
But
it doesn't matter. They make those assumptions. If they get triggered by the assumptions, then they're not in the right environment, right? They're not listening to the right teacher. They get triggered by those assumptions.
I see. Well, then I was listening to the right teacher.
I guess so, because you liked the fact
I liked your car.
And the majority of my students and people who listened to my classes and everything were very happy, and they saw it as, if she can do it, I can do it too.
That's what I saw. That's how I felt. It's like you are very good and successful and worth listening to. I mean, you're not demonstrating your empowerment tools by living in poverty and groveling, Yeah.
And
anyways, I was mightily impressed. I was also
energy behind it was, when I was a little kid, I was really small, and I listened to some adults talk about being afraid of not being able to buy food or something. And as a little child, I was really, really small. We're talking 2 or 3 years old. As a small child, I became fearful. I became suddenly afraid. Oh, what if we don't have enough to eat? We'll starve, right? This is what I thought in my head. And immediately, instantly, I felt and heard Gaia, not the human collective, Gaia, say to me, Inelia, you must never be afraid of lack, because I will always have your back. I will always provide for you. I will make sure that you never lack for anything. And if there's a reality where there's no food, I will make sure that you are not hungry. And I'm like, okay then, perfect.
On we go.
And the fear just left.
Vanished.
And that was it. And there were times when my mother, my brother, my sister, and I lived in the street. Right after the coup in Chile, we left, went to Argentina. There was a coup there. And it made my mom working illegal, right? Because she was from Chile, an exile. So she couldn't work. So we didn't have money, and we didn't have food. And my brother, my sister, and my mom went hungry day after day, for days sometimes. And I didn't. Why? Was there food for me? No. I just did not feel hungry.
Well, that's a solution.
Right? I did not feel hungry. And I didn't have less energy or anything. I could function perfectly well without eating. Right? But it made my sister in particular suffer, because she's quite a few years older than me. And she couldn't stand the fact that her little sister didn't have anything to eat during the day. So one day she brought in some cornmeal, right? Which was the cheapest thing you could buy at the store. She was 14. And she got herself a job at a bar, right? Cleaning dishes and serving drinks to people. And the small wage that she got, she went to the store and she bought cornmeal, which was the cheapest thing. She brought it home and she put water in it because there was nothing else, and she cooked it. And my mom and my brother and her started eating it because they were ravenous. I put it in my mouth and I spat it out. I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that. That's disgusting. And she got so upset. She was just, you have to eat it. You're going to die otherwise. I said, I'm not going to die. And I'm not even hungry. So it's like, you have to eat it, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, what will you eat then? She said to me, she was desperate by now. What will you eat? I'll have steak sandwiches. I said, that's my favorite. I'll have steak sandwiches.
Yes.
And she's like, what? Steak meat is the most expensive thing, and bread is expensive. I can't give you that. I says, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'll just go without eating. It's fine. But if I'm gonna eat it, that's the only thing I'm gonna eat. And she's like, what? And she went back to work, right?
Yeah.
And then after the next day or the 2 days after, she came home with 2 massive bags. One of the shopping bags was filled with steaks, and the other shopping bag was filled with bread. And she put it on the kitchen, and she said, I don't know what you did, she said, but today, 2 different customers, I didn't even mention this, but 2 different customers, one of them arrived with a bag of meat, here it is, and he said, look, here, this is for you, right? For you, take it to your family, cook it, you know. I don't know if he was a butcher or he had cows or whatever, but he had extras, and he decided he's going to give it to the little girl in the bar. And then the other bag, same thing. Some guy arrived with a bag of bread. Here's for you. Bread and steak. What does that make?
A steak sandwich, baby.
Exactly. So she was so happy. She didn't know. She said, I don't know what you did, but
it worked.
These random people just gave me this, so think more things.
Think more things.
Yeah. What else
Don't you want a cake, honey? Don't you want a cake? What's some pudding? Ice cream?
And she made steak sandwiches, and guess what?
You ate it.
I ate it.
And it was delicious.
It was delicious.
Oh,
right?
good.
The Human Collective and Gaia worked together. And the Human Collective and Gaia absolutely love you. Love you. You're here to embody the new paradigm. You're here to express your high frequency, your natural frequency. They love you. They love you. And if you let them...
Oh, honey.
If you let them, right?
Yes.
You will be supported. You will have your steak sandwich.
You
don't have to eat cornmeal.
Cornmeal. I've tried to cook you cornmeal too, honey.
I never eat it.
You never eat it, even with a fancy name.
That's true. A fancy name.
How about some polenta, honey?
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know. It says polenta. Here, have some. It's like, that's cornmeal. I'm not eating it. Oh my gosh, that cracks me up every time. Oh man. Well, honey, we have German class.
Oh my gosh, we're late for our German class.
Yes.
We better go.
Okay. I feel like
Complete?
complete.
Perfect. I love you, honey.
I love you very much, honey. Give me a kiss.